What's going on? Big A the Mank Geek coming at you with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the new Kick-Ass, well, continuation really it is because it's set after the initial kind of first phase of Kick-Ass, so to speak, and it stars a character called Patience Lee who decides to one day become Kick-Ass. I just want to start off by saying I quite like Mark Millar's work. I met him in 2016 at a signing. He signed like my first issue of Chrononauts, Kick-Ass, Jupiter's Legacy or Circle, I can't remember which one because I've still got it and I haven't read it yet. And he signed, I think, Civil War as well. And yeah, he's a nice bloke, he's a good bloke. Like, I follow him on Twitter as well, and he's nice enough, you know what I mean? So he's actually a stand-up guy. But unfortunately, this new Kick-Ass does have some problems. I think a lot of those problems are coincidental. I don't think they're on purpose, and I think it's just an unfortunate case of someone who I consider a good enough writer just not doing their duty very well, so to speak. That's pretty much the only conclusion I can come to, because like we start off with Patience towards the end of the story, and then we get a flashback to when she was in the war, well, the war on terror, and she returns home. Her husband has left her for another woman, so she's pretty much just looking after the kids by herself, trying to work a job by herself. And up until that point, like, the comic is like, you know, it goes exactly where I was expecting. But then there is kind of like a mention of Trump without Trump. What did it say? Where is it? Now I can't find a security job. Is this why a crazy orange billionaire ended up in the Oval Office? And it's just a bit like, in terms of like political commentary, it's not the most subtle I've ever come across. So I'm just like, right then I was like, okay, I kind of tell what road this is gonna go down. And then we get more of Patience, like finding it difficult to find a job and supporting her children. And because she can't find a job or support her children, for some reason, she just one day decides that she's going to dress up as Kick-Ass and rob some criminals of their money so she can support her family. Like, there's no kind of like inception moment or a moment of realization. There's none of that. It's purely just, I can't afford, or it's going to be difficult for me to provide for my family, so I'm just going to dress up as, but it comes out of nowhere though. This is the thing. It's like one panel she's like wiping her daughter's bum and having a bit of a think, and then she says to herself, how the hell do I get out of this mess? And then bam, next panel she's just in the Kick-Ass get up, and it's just like, what where was the transitionary period between her thinking, how do I get out of this, and then her getting into that costume? Where did she get the costume from? Is she familiar with the whole kind of superhero scene that there was in New York, which was taking place during Kick-Ass? Like, was she inspired by them? Like, you know, was she a fan, so to speak, of that whole kind of crowd? And then, so it doesn't really do what it should do very well. And then she gets caught on like her first job, or first mission to steal money, so to speak. And yeah, she gets caught and she takes out the criminals like one hit, like each of them. And it's just a bit like, it's a bit boring, just a little bit boring. But yeah, I don't think it's SJW. I just think there's some unfortunate things on there which are coincidental, which you'd identify as being SJW. I just think it's not a very well written story. The actual kind of, the struggle of the character, I can be like, yeah, but I mean, considering that they were in the army, I'm sure there's some way they could get some financial aid or some financial support from somewhere. Like, I'm not 100% clued up on that stuff because I've never served before. I don't know much about it, but I'm just assuming that could even help you retrain in a different job as well. So I don't know as to why it'd be this character that would end up going the superhero route. With Dave, it made sense because he was a young lad. him and his nerdy friends, they always talked comics. And, you know, anyone who reads comics, yeah, it would be awesome if you could be a superhero. But it's just not realistic. It's never going to happen. It's not practical. And you'll end up dead. You'll end up getting yourself into situations that are much bigger than you, which is exactly what happens to Dave. He gets into a situation that is much bigger than him, and he accidentally, well, starts off a whole kind of weird movement with superheroes and people thinking that they're supervillains, and the mob getting involved and all that kind of stuff. Everything just got way out of hand. And the thing about Dave, you can like Dave because although he's actually quite weak, he tries, and he tries his hardest. And because he tries his hardest, he does end up winning, but he takes a severe beating. The only reason why he can take that beating is because like the nerves in his body are kind of all messed up from the car accident after he got stabbed and then the car ran him over. It kind of messed up his whole kind of like nervous system. So he can't really feel pain as much as he should, which is kind of his superpower, but it isn't. And yeah, that's what made Dave really interesting. Whereas Patience Lee, she's just a badass from the start. So I mean, it's just not as interesting. The only struggle that she has is with her family. But just get a better job or move out of the neighborhood if it's not working out. I know I'm probably being ignorant to it and I'm making it sound really easy, but I just don't feel like there's a good character motivation for what she's decided to do. It's a bit weak for me. To be honest, I would have preferred it if I guess it would be kind of cliche, but if she was from kind of like more of a bit of a struggling background, because it didn't look like she really struggled that much before. So if her kind of like home life had always been quite a struggle, I think it would kind of make more sense for her to then take on the mantle of a vigilante if there was kind of like a real personal reason as to why she wanted to take that role on. Maybe someone, you know, she loved, a family member, you know, got in some trouble and like she wanted to exact revenge without any kind of payback. So, you know, orders a kick-ass costume online and then, you know, goes after them and whatnot, and also steals their money as well to help pay for medical bills or something like that. I don't know, just an idea, but I don't think this is Mark Millar's strongest work. Like I said, all the kind of like SJW elements I think are coincidental. I don't think it's purposefully meant to be kind of like, I don't think it's purposefully meant to be SJW, I honestly don't. Like he keeps saying, I think it's a coincidence. I mean, I follow the guy, I've met the guy, he's a nice dude. Other than that, I mean, it's all right. I mean, if you like Romita Jr.'s art, you'll probably get something out of it at least. Would I recommend this to anyone? Unfortunately, it would be a no. I wouldn't recommend this really to anyone. I mean, there's some kind of decent kind of military action at the beginning, but I have a feeling that if you've not been in the military, it will appear like not common occurrence, but you won't know that kind of stuff never actually happens. It's kind of like, it's got quite a film feel to it, so it doesn't feel like real military. It feels like the military you see in the movies. So that's what it actually feels like to me. You know, if anyone's served, let me know as to whether I'm right or wrong on that. But yeah, no, I can't recommend it. I'm sorry, I can't. I think if you see it on the cheap in a bargain bin at some point, yeah, you can pick it up if you want. But at the moment, this is not a recommend from me. I will be picking up the second issue to see how it goes, see how it fares, see if it improves in terms of the storytelling. But so far, it's a no. Anyway, that's it for this review of Kick-Ass issue number 1. This wait, I don't even know what volume this is. Is it Kick-Ass volume 3 or 4? New Kick-Ass, whatever. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know what you thought if you got this comic as well. And stick around, watch another video if you want. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.